Liverpool versus Newcastle has turned into the purest form of brinkmanship. Alexander Isak isn't just a target. He's the obsession. He's stepped away from full training, working on his own while the noise grows louder. And that message lands like a flare in the night. He wants out. Contracted until 2028 or not. This is a modern transfer in its rawest shape. Club star and buyer locked in a staring contest where the first blink costs tens of millions. Personal terms with Liverpool tied up. That part is done. Jürgen Klopp might be gone, but the machine remains, and the player is fully on board. Now it's down to the one thing that always decides a saga like this. Price. Newcastle want £150 million. They've binned Liverpool's opening £110 million, plus add-ons without a second glance. The second salvo is loaded, £130 million, with sweeter bonuses. The kind of back-end payoff Fenway Sports Group believes will finally break the deadlock. Reports suggest the dialogue with Isak's camp is daily, relentless. A drumbeat meant to wear down St. James Park before the window slams shut. Pundits keep muttering that Isak is an £85 to £99 million forward, that £150 million is a fantasy number. But Newcastle have the leverage of a long contract, a central role, and no obligation to sell for now. The complication is Isak himself. When a player eases away from the group and the clock begins to run, the tone shifts. Liverpool can smell the opportunity, and they're leaning on the oldest force in transfers: player pressure. If Newcastle cave, Anfield may land one of the most expensive signings in their history. If they don't, Liverpool must decide whether to raise the base fee or walk away and live with the silence. Meanwhile, a different storm is brewing in Madrid. Vinicius Jr., once positioned as a face of Real's attack, now finds his status clouded not by form, but by finance. He wants parity with Kylian Mbappe, around €25 million per year, including bonuses, and Real Madrid have drawn a hard red line through that number. The club that built an empire on Galacticos is now a guardian of a tight wage structure, and this is the hill they're prepared to defend. Whispers turned to headlines when early summer optimism gave way to a standstill. There was talk that a new deal was close. Then suddenly, the demands rose and the progress evaporated. As the season approached, a radical idea surfaced. If Vinicius won't budge, Madrid won't bend. Some voices insist the club would rather let him leave for nothing down the line than detonate their internal balance today. It feels unthinkable. Yet the longer negotiations remain frozen, the more dangerous the calendar becomes. 2 years left can become one in a heartbeat, and free agency starts to loom like a shadow over the Bernabeu turf. For now, the two sides have parked the conversation. Focus on the football, revisit the numbers later. But delaying empowers the clock, and the clock is nobody's ally in a standoff like this. The outcome is brutally simple. Either Vinicius accepts a structure beneath Mbappe's throne, or Real risk losing one of their premium assets in a scenario that would be remembered for a decade. Every quiet week heightens the stakes. Every great performance emboldens the player. Every Mbappe headline hardens the club. Back in Madrid, the noise doesn't end with Vinicius. Rodrigo has reached the point where silence is its own statement. Left out by Brazil, spoken about bluntly in press conferences, and increasingly marginalized in the Real rotation, he has reportedly submitted a transfer request. That phrase, "allant transfer request," rings like a starting gun. Liverpool keep getting mentioned, and Manchester City hover at a distance. But Pep Guardiola's attack is a jungle, and new arrivals don't get automatic sunlight. Xabi Alonso insists he counts on Rodrigo. Then the lineups keep chipping away at the promise. He starts less, he matters less, and the calendar is merciless. When a player of that quality becomes available, Premier League clubs move at speed. There's still time, and a controlled silence suggests his camp won't let emotion outrun strategy. But a path out now looks more realistic than waiting for a miracle, where the minutes magically return and the hierarchy changes. Milan, meanwhile, are pivoting with the urgency of a club that knows one window can shape a season. They've made contact for Christopher Nkunku and opened the door with Chelsea. It makes sense on every level. Nkunku needs minutes and impact. Milan need a difference maker before Monday. Bayern, Leipzig, and Aston Villa have flirted with the idea this summer, but now Milan are in and ready to move with purpose. The Athletic says conversations have started. Fabrizio Romano says the intent is real. Look at the signs. Nkunku hasn't been in the squad for the first 2 matches. Chelsea want a cleaner front line and a leaner wage bill. A permanent deal around €50 million, down from the €70 million, quotes in January, is suddenly on the table. The snag is salary. What he earns in London is hefty by Serie A standards, and compromises will have to be cut. Bonuses. Structure may be a creative solution. If Milan crack it, they gain a match winner in one stroke. If not, Leipzig could swoop, rekindling a love that never really faded. Deadlines create drama. This one could explode. And then there is Manchester United, where drama never needs a deadline. Ruben Amorim is standing on the edge, and the club doesn't seem interested in pretending otherwise. Losing to Grimsby Town would always bruise, but the manner of ITHL penalties, the 4th Division sting. The national laughter turns a bruise into a wound. Add a heavy summer spend pushing towards £200 million in a league start that reads like a warning label 1 point from 2. Beaten by Arsenal, held by Fulham, you get the anatomy of a crisis. Amorim's post-match honesty, the kind that plays heroic in theory, lands like acid in practice. The better team won. Something must change. The players were too loud. There's a thin line between candor and self-sabotage, and his words may have hurried United's timeline. The Burnley match is framed as last chance saloon. Failed to win, and the September break becomes the reset button. The board is already peeking around the corner at contingencies. Lope de Guy's structure, Zidane's aura. You don't cut a coach into thin air. You line up the next domino, and then push, strip the emotion away, and the numbers glare. 7 league wins under Amorim, only 4 against clubs still in the Premier League. A project built with hope and heavy spending, now hanging on 90 minutes that can't rewrite history, even if they buy time. We feel sorry for the fans won't cut it. United have had seasons of farce, seasons of fury, and seasons of hard resets. This one feels different, more brittle, more expensive, less forgiving. It has the shape of a slide you can't mean your way out of, and if the axe falls, it won't just be a manager departing. It will be another admission that the plan was a wish, not a blueprint. So, here we are, perched on the edge of multiple cliffhangers. Liverpool are counting on pressure and precision to wrest Isak from Newcastle's grip. Real Madrid are daring Vinicius to blink while quietly calculating the cost of principle. Spurs are sprinting through an open door for Xavi Simons, as Chelsea fumbles the lock. Rodrigo's request is the invitation Premier League giants love most. Milan are recalibrating their season around Nkunku's availability and their own ingenuity with wages. Manchester United are closing their eyes and bargaining with a single game. You know how this goes. The last 72 hours of a window are not kind to the indecisive. Clubs that hesitate wake up empty-handed. Clubs that move find themselves holding headlines.